I'm Ian Walker from Worthing West CLP, who's just finished working on the successful campaign to elect Becky Cooper to Parliament. It's the first time the sitting father of the House has ever lost their seat in the election since it was started in 1899. That's another sort of a thing to be proud of.
Just 7 years ago, you didn't even have a Labour councillor.
Yes. I think, in 2017, again, Becky, as it happens, got elected as a councillor in Marine. But a couple of years ahead of that, we began to do what's, in terms of campaigning, in door knocking, leafleting and being organised, things that you begin to recognise as the elements of a successful campaign, even if ultimately they weren't successful. And I think this is an important thing. Wherever you are, there will be opportunities arise. You've got to be in a position to take advantage of them. And our main one was the Marine became available. That wouldn't have been our priority ward by any description. It was, I mean, 9 in Worthing, and that probably would have been 6th, shall we say. But it became available, and we thought we'd have a go at it. I wasn't part of this conversation, and Becky will tell you better. But she was told, don't worry, you can't win it. So you might as well run them and see what happens. Anyway, fast forward 6 weeks, and we won it by a few hundred votes, which gave Labour its first councillor in Worthing since 1974. So to put it another way, when I was 1 year old. So it's quite a long time ago. So we broke the 40-year run. This, of course, sort of showed that we could win in Worthing, and that's, I mean, I'm sitting here in Lewes, so we record this, and I get the impression that's the point maybe it needs to get over here, that you can prove, starting at a local level, that Labour can win. And once we got through there and showed that we were the main opposition to the Conservatives and not the Lib Dems, I mean, the Conservatives at this point had about 33 or 39 councillors, something like that. UKIP were just about holding on about then, and the rest were Lib Dems. But on the progressive side, the Lib Dems were the main opposition. Fast forward to 2018 and the May elections, we won, I think it was 4 more seats, also some in East Worthing, I should add. And we built up, and we built up. As a side, we won all the, 5 West Sussex County Council seats, which we'd never had any Labour representatives on West Sussex County Council for Worthing.
So what do you put that down to? Who started believing that it would happen? Is it you as the Labour Party? Is it, or is it the voters? Is it, who believed?
I think initially there was a small group of us who thought, we can do this. We can, I've got to be perfectly honest, getting an MP, I don't even think would have been dreamt of back then, but certainly making an impact on the council was seen as achievable. And it's a hard call, some of which, as I said, persuaded Becky to stand. And we built it up. We started in Marine Ward, as it's called. Then we went into the more sort of, if anyone knows Worthing, the town centre, which is central in Dean. We built them up. In the meantime, East Worthing were winning places like Broadwater and Gaysford and Selden, and that took us to a certain level. Then we expanded out to Tarring's interesting because it was a bit of a hotbed for the Lib Dems, and they had one councillor there who had a big personal thing, but we sort of bided our time and he retired, thankfully. So we've now got all 3 there, and a place called Castle, funny enough, where I live, which is quite working class, which was very UKIP-y back not long ago. And we've got all 3 councillors there now. And finally, a place called Northbrook. We were quite early actually looking and analysing into data compared to some people. I think it's got a lot better in the party now, and I think the training's better. I think a lot more people are doing it around the party. But we were also, funny enough, after the general election, where the party have always been accused of being too ruthless, we were quite ruthless. We would focus on a ward. If we didn't think we could win a ward that time, we practically did nothing there. Some of these wards we've subsequently returned to and won, I should add. But we brought a sense of ruthlessness to it, which worked. expanded it, if not one by one, you know, a couple of wards at a time so we didn't overstretch ourselves. And success breeds success. Once you win a ward, you know, the campaigning doesn't just stop at the barrier down that road.
Is ruthless another word for focus?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think you've got to focus. You've only got X amount of, well, money and X amount of activists, and usually activists is the thing you run out of first. So you've got to focus them sort of where you can win.
The story is that it's demographic change that has swept along the coast and made all this, you know, the red wave.
Yeah.
But you don't really buy that.
I think there is some demographic changes. I don't think it's the whole story. I mean, I think for one thing, it's good organisation and hard work by us, because I think there's other areas that haven't had our success yet that have probably had the same sort of demographic shift. I'm told that the actual age of people in Worthing hasn't gone down. However, I could well believe people are moving from Brighton and London, which is undoubtedly helpful because they tend to be quite strong Labour areas. And I think any Green supporters from Brighton will soon abandon that when they get over the West Sussex border. But yeah, I think it's a factor. I'm not entirely, I think it's a little bit overcooked